Hi, it's Marion from NBC Pilates talking about the vestibular system and demonstrating how you can use the vestibular system. That's quite a mouthful, huh? So the vestibular system is our inner ear complex. It's a very vital part of our balance system. So I'm just going to demonstrate 3 different ways that you can focus or consciously work your vestibular system. So I'm going to start standing, and I'm going to do something that we probably all do a little bit in our day or when our neck feels tight. So what I mean by that is just kind of like, sometimes we just like, oh, my neck's tight. Yep, and I can feel it's really tight when I go that way, right? But I'm just kind of tilting my head, you know, doing it, or sometimes I'll chin to chest and open up my throat, the back of my neck. So let's add a vestibular cue or focus to this. So I'm gonna imagine I put a martini, and you can use a margarita or any favorite cocktail you have, but for this demonstration purposes, I'm gonna put a martini in my head. So from here, I'm just gonna think about that martini being very upright and very full. And I'm gonna think about tilting that martini and just pouring some of it out through the side of my head. So sort of down onto my shoulder here, from the top of my head. And I'm gonna go to the other side. And you might notice that the movement has become a lot more isolated. There's not a lot of movement at my shoulders. I'm really actually here stretching my neck, and I have a little bit more range of motion going to this side and a lot less strain than I felt on the other side. Most likely because I was moving from a different place that was tighter. So now I'm just isolating into that neck, okay? So something else you can do too is you could pour that martini forward towards the floor. And then pour that martini out through the back of the head, just doing the same movement I did before, but with focus and thoughtfulness. And it really changes the movement completely. It actually feels pretty good, which it should, right? You're observing, you're noticing different things. One more movement focus here before we move on to a different position and a different movement is, how about we keep that martini very full on the top of our heads. We've gone for a refill, and let's turn our head from right to left. So if I turn my head in, I'm thinking about, can I turn my head without spilling it? And I know we turn our head hundreds of times during the day, I'm sure, but the reality is, we just kind of turn it, and I'll show you in a minute what I mean. But if I really focus on that martini and not spilling it, there's a different sort of movement in my head, versus if I come to center and I just turn my head, you probably can see there's some different movement. I even see sometimes people are so tight, they kind of lift the side of their chin as they turn their head. But if we simply put this idea of a martini, which makes our vestibular system kick in and pay attention, and we say, let's not spill it, things become very different. And we get some really nice cervical spine movement. That's your neck. So moving on, let's take a seat. Another example, side bending. This is one of, oh, feels so good, right? Side bend, side bend. Ooh, I feel pretty tight today. Right, so side bending. Come back to center. Okay, let's put that martini back on the head, straight up, very full. What if I side bended and just with control poured the martini over to one side, the side I'm side bending, and then brought it up for a refill and went over to the other side? Yes, I'm still stretching, but it does feel a little more isolating, a lot more controlled, and I gotta tell you, I have a feeling that the lateral flexion or side bending of my spine is a lot more true. I'm using my spine, my vertebrae, to do this movement versus maybe lifting a hip, shifting the ribs. So many other things can happen. One more to each side, gently spilling that martini. I shouldn't say spilling, pouring, because we're intentionally pouring it out. We're not sloppily spilling it. Okay, so last position. Let's come down onto all fours. And of course, do whatever you like of these positions. I just want you to feel the difference. So from here, cat-cow. We do a lot of this, right? So cat-cow, the rounding and extending of the spine. Perfect. Do a couple. See what you naturally do. Then, now my martini is kind of upright on the back top of my head. And I'm going to think about pouring it so that I kind of turn it upside down. And then I'm going to come back up, of course, get a refill, and I'm going to pour it down my back. Now, your range of motion might be much bigger than mine, depending on your body, or much less. I always kind of think I'm in the middle of the road. But with control, I'm really focused on moving through my spine and flexion and back into extension. Back to center. Great. So here's a few things. Try these. Most importantly, just do the movement without your martini. Just do it how you would normally do it. Don't think about it. Don't try to do something different. Just do you. Then place that martini on your head. Tilt your head in all the different directions. If you don't like using the martini, you can think that you have water in your ear, and you can kind of pour the water out on your ear, out from your ear onto your shoulder, side to side. Same kind of idea as you move through the movement. I just kind of like the martini. It gives a good sense. You can visualize, and then it gives you a point of reference to work from. So do the exercise, cold turkey, I say, without any strategy. Then apply the vestibular strategy. See what happens, and let me know. Let me know if it makes a difference. And I just demonstrated 3 different positions and 3 different exercises. Anytime you're moving your head, you can use this same strategy with the martini in your head. I even use it with people with some balance issues to walk with a martini on their head without spilling it. You might be surprised at what happens. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.